Euro week, so let the greatest song contest begin! Welcome to the Art of Creepy! Yes, today I will be talking about Eurovision, or Eurovision Song Contest. In any way, it's Euro week. That means that this week the Eurovision is being broadcasted, basically. Well, Eurovision has had a long history with some weird things happening. Behind the scenes, there's a lot of weird things also happening. And well, like I said, Saturday is the finals, today is the semi-finals, the first one, and Thursday is the second semi-finals. And I am so excited about it. Like every year, I've been watching for a long time, basically since the best winner ever has won. Yes, Lordy. And well, like I said, it has a lot of history. So let's start with that. The song contest started in 1956. The first ever in Switzerland, with only 7 countries participating. Because it was the first time and with only 7 countries, every country had to join in with 2 songs. The first one to start was the Netherlands, the country where I'm from, so very proud of that. And basically these 7 countries have always participated since now. Though there are some things I'm going to talk about called boycotting. But first, let's see for the which countries. Basically every year more countries entered, like the UK, Spain, Ireland, but the biggest increase was with the fall of the Soviet Union in 1990. I don't really remember, but by the fall of the Soviet Union, a lot more countries wanted to participate in the Eurovision song contest, because it's a way to putting out their country and show them how proud you are of your country and have someone sing about it. So since the increase, basically in 1994, 25 countries competed, and in 1996 the first qualifying round started, and those started not on TV. So of those 27 countries, there were a few were scrapped. He said that around 7 songs never made it to the contest. That's my phone. But the real semi-finals that we now see on television tonight, for example, was introduced in 2004, with the second semi-final started since 2008. So before 2004 there were no semi-finals, and those semi-finals came because the most entries they had was 43, and that's a lot if you only want 25 in the final. So they had to have these semi-finals so that each country can represent their songs, and that those who are not really good, let's put that off. Shut up, people. So like I said, the semi-finals are to slim down the competition for the 25. Of those 25, there are 6 countries that are put into the final automatically. These are the Big 5 and the hosting country. So this year Israel is definitely in the finals because they are hosting, and the Big 5 are Italy, Spain, Germany, French and the UK. These Big 5 have been the Big 5 or even Big 4 since 2004, since the semi-finals. So they automatically qualify for the finals. And why? Because they give a lot of money to the contest. The big money, the Big 5, because they spend the most money. They help the other countries to host it. So they automatically get a place in the finals. A lot of countries do not agree with that, but if we look later, at the behind the scenes stuff, money is a big thing in this contest because it is a expensive contest. That I can say of these big five, since the big five or big four, because Spain, no, Italy didn't always was part of the contest because of boycotting. But since the big five started, only one country has won, and that's Germany with Satellite van Lena. But the other countries of the big five have not been great at all, I must say. Italy has had some strong entries, but not strong enough apparently for the winning song. So that's the countries. Now let's look at some rules. Before, in 1965, there were not a lot of rules because it was still figuring out, but short after they had the rule that each song is allowed to be around 3 minutes, but one country didn't really want to listen to that and had a song what was around 5 minutes. Well, imagine if nowadays of all those 25 countries had a song of 5 minutes, it will take a long time to broadcast. So since basically 1960, they have the rule that the song can only be around 3 minutes. And so basically till 1998, the rules have been a lot stricter. So like till 98, the country had to sing in one of the natural languages. So like the Netherlands has to sing in Dutch, Belgium can sing in French or Dutch, Germany has to sing in German, Norway has to sing in Norwegian, like that. And though it's an awesome idea, right nowadays it's not very common because most people now speak English, so most sing in English. So I think personally it's better if someone sings in their own language because it gives more authentic feeling, but that's my personal opinion, of course. But also with these languages, Eurovision is the hosts speak in English and in French, because French are bastards and refuse to speak English. But only to make it more open, they speak English and also translate a little bit in French. Also till 1998, they were only allowed to have 3 people on the stage. Nowadays they are allowed to have 6 people, but then there were only 3 people. Even before, it was mostly solo artists or duets. Till 1998, there was a live orchestra at the front. So the music was played live. Nowadays it's all recorded. Only thing that is live is the singing, because it's a singing contest, so that's important. That the singing is live, but the music is mostly nowadays recorded beforehand and played live. And with the music nowadays, with all those beats and electronic sounds, it's understandable that they don't do it live with an orchestra anymore. The other thing is, when you look at the Eurovision contest, you may think, why is Israel in there and countries like Georgia, Turkey? Well, it has to do with the European Broadcasting Union, or EBU. EBU is basically the broadcasting service for all of Europe, but its range is a little bit bigger than Europe. The countries that surround the Mediterranean Sea are also included in this European broadcasting network. So countries like Israel, Turkey, even Morocco and Egypt are basically in this union and are allowed, or can be in this union and can be allowed to join the contest. Morocco did once, but they ended basically last, so it was a one-time one only. But Israel and countries like Georgia and Turkey once did, now not anymore. They are still in the Eurovision because they are part of the UBU. Another strange country, of course, is Australia. Australia was invited to join at the 60th anniversary of the Eurovision, because Australia has a European song contest cult, basically. It is said that the most viewers are of Australia instead of all of Europe. So yeah, why not invite them? And was basically, if they are successful, they are allowed to join next year. And that's going on and on. And a lot of people do not agree with that, because they're not Europe or part of the European Broadcasting Union. But people of Australia are just too happy to join, so let's have their fun. And then one day they will perform badly, and then we can kick them out again. Let's not say that aloud. So, like I said, Israel and Georgia, Azerbaijan are basically not really Europe, but are allowed to join. So, why are not all countries joining in the Eurovision? Well, countries are weird because there's a lot of boycotting going on with Eurovision. Basically, if they do not agree with the country's host, the host country, or anything else, they probably just start boycotting. One year, long ago, 4 countries won the contest because they did not know how to handle a tie, and those 4 countries had the same amount of points. So they won, and next year like 5 countries boycotted because they did not agree with it. And that makes them change the rules a bit about voting. But like, they just boycotted because they did not agree. Turkey does not agree with the point system now, with the 50-50 judge and televoting. So they have not competed since 2010 because they do not agree with the rules. People are talking about boycotting Israel because of the Gaza stroke and all those other things. It does not happen. It's still 41 entries this year, but people are still talking about boycotting it. Russia was not allowed to compete in Ukraine because the Russian singer was not allowed in Ukraine because of the politic things going on around there. Switzerland didn't want to compete with when the contest was in Spain because they did not agree with the ruler of Spain, so they didn't do it. And that's basically with everything. If a country does not agree with the rules, or something has gone wrong, or because of war, or political struggle, they boycott it, don't act, and sometimes don't even broadcast it. About broadcasting and about politics, one of the rules is that singers are not to talk about politics. Don't make any politics gesture, don't include it in the lyrics, don't have speeches. When you're interviewed, don't talk about it, because it's a big no-no in the song contest. Basically, Eurovision was started as a way to bring Europe back together by the European Broadcasting Union, which was in Switzerland, and they wanted to bring Europe a little bit together with song, and that's a great idea, and it helps, but not really always. Except with the Soviet Union that fell, a lot of countries want to join because it's a good thing. But nowadays there's still a little bit of struggle between countries, especially Russia, which has had a lot of bad taste a couple of years. Like, the only time people have really booed at the contest was when Russia gained points or when they were singing, and that's on one hand very sad, on the other hand, yeah, politics. Though the singers are not allowed to do that, the people in the audience certainly do. The most big thing, politic-wise, is the LGBT community that has really come flocked to Eurovision. Especially since Conchita Wurst won a few years back from Austria. Though it was an amazing song, I really loved it. But since then, it really has attracted the LGBT community, like the flags going on and same-sex dancing, even same-sex kiss happened a few years back. And though it's amazing and very progressive, some countries have a little bit of trouble with it, especially Russia. Russia has a big no-no to the gays and stuff. So when Russia sang, they start booing mostly because of that. China has been prohibited to broadcast Eurovision because they started to blur out all the flags, tattoos, and just didn't show some performers because it was not straight enough for them. And well, like I said, the Eurovision said that they were not allowed to broadcast it anymore because of that, and that's a really true thing. But Russia also does it also. Russia also showed ads during one song because it was not too LGBT, which they did not agree on, and that was not really appropriate. They also blurred when Conchita Wurst was singing, and when she was singing in the next year as host. So the Eurovision is really strongly connected with the LGBT community, but it also causes a lot of conflict between some countries because of that. Let's talk about the really creepy part of Eurovision, and that is behind the scenes. Not about the singers, but mostly about hosting it. The price of hosting the contest is a lot. It's expensive. There has even been times when the winning countries could not host it, and some other country had to host it because it was way too expensive. Like millions go into it. And if you look at the podiums, there's a lot of music, screams and lightning and fire and all the spectacles, expensive looks, clothing, mid-time shows. It's really all over the top, and for some countries it's just way too expensive. One year there was even one singer who had to pay for her own travel expensive to get to the location of the host because the country did not have had enough money to even pay for her to go there. And even they definitely don't want to win because it's too expensive. Especially the poor countries like Ukraine, they did it, but it costs a lot. All this Romania, all those foreign Soviet Union countries just sometimes cannot pay for it. How Cyprus probably also will have a lot of trouble if they win to pay for it because it's really expensive. So nowadays countries have a little bit more fun, and like I said, the big five are pouring money in so that the hosting country can afford it, but it's still a lot of money. And yes, we love it. Thus, I have looked up the prices, and it's 800 whatever Jerusalem, Israel currency is, but let's just say 800 euros or even more, 900 pounds to have a ticket for the Eurovision. And then you just have a ticket. You're not there with a hotel for a whole week if you go the whole week, or flying expensive, travel expensive. It's just really expensive, and still the stadium is full with people. Yes, it's awesome and it must be amazing to be there, but it's just way too expensive. And that's just for us. Can't imagine how expensive it has to be for the countries to host it. I mean, yeah, it's an amazing thing to have. Because yes, you have your name, you've hosted, you won, but it's still very expensive. And like I said, the boycotting, the war things that happening, the political struggle that happens is also all behind the scenes still happening. And that's just the really creepy part, not the songs. Though some are creepy, or at least weird and creepy in a way of that's too much crazy. Like last year, someone started kissing his singer partner, and it was just really creepy and very awkward to watch. But that's not the creepiest thing. The creepiest thing is just the political struggle behind it, the boycotting of the countries because they do not agree with having Israel as host, or just the bad reputation some countries have. And besides that, there's also with voting, the judge voting, it's always like, oh, it's the neighboring countries, so they get a lot. Oh, Russia will get a lot of Ukraine and of Poland because they're neighboring countries, and Russia is the big mother Russia that everyone has to vote for because they're Russia. That's also always a thing. Italy will always vote for Cyprus or Malta because it's their part of them, and that's what a lot of countries people are against to. And like Turkey, like I said, Turkey does not agree with that judging because the judge mostly vote for their countries, for their neighboring countries. It's also the thing of migration. The Netherlands has a lot of Polish people because of the work opportunity, and there's nothing wrong with that. But with Eurovision, also with other countries of course, the Polish people can vote in the Netherlands for Poland to win. Poland doesn't want that, but a lot of votes, mostly not that a lot, but there always are votes for Poland because of the Polish people here. Not that it's bad, like I said, there's nothing wrong with the Polish workers here because they are needed, but with that voting, people know and people will always keep an eye on it. And the same thing with neighboring countries, the Netherlands and Belgium will always vote for each other because of that Dutch feeling, like, and Belgium will always vote on France because of France feeling. Belgium is always on those two, voting on those two, and like that's the thing that happened, and people do not always agree with it. Like I said, some countries do not agree with it, so they boycott the thing. But it's just a thing that happens. It's weird and creepy sometimes, but that's Eurovision. Eurovision is basically one big European orgy of music, and also one good thing about Eurovision is the music that comes from it. Yes, the only big winner of Eurovision was ABBA, who got an amazing career after that, had an amazing lot of songs. There's now movies and musicals purely of ABBA songs. They are the big winner basically, because all other winners, well, you don't hear anything of them anymore basically. But all the musicians that go there, basically it's powerful ballads and some bit rocky, some country, a little bit poppy, European pop. But basically since Lordi won, there is a lot more of metal influences, rock and roll influences. Not that they are all good, but it's getting more there. And there are also some crazy people, like Poland a few years back, where we're just making butter on stage with basically the tits out, just because they can. The greatest song ever is of Verka Serduszka with Dance, I can pronounce it. It's the best song ever. Everyone who watched Eurovision knows that song. She is not very known outside of Eurovision, but in Eurovision she's a legend. Alexander, the Norwegian guy with Fairy Tale, also very well known person within Eurovision. Outside, not that much. But that's the thing with Eurovision, it's basically just a week for Europe to celebrate, and Australia to just enjoy lots of songs, weird acts, good acts, crazy acrobatics on stage, because that's also a big part of Eurovision. It's not about the song, it's also about the performance and the singing. Basically, if you sing bad on stage, you mostly lose. If you only sing good and it's only you singing, well, Portugal won last year, 2 years ago, because of only singing, but mostly about stage performance. How are you on stage? I haven't listened to a single song yet for this year of Eurovision. I have heard snippets of the Netherlands entry because it's on the radio, but I haven't watched or listened to anything yet because I like to be surprised. It's about their stage performance and not about their song on the radio. It's about how they are on stage, because they are judged on that performance. Not from, oh yeah, I like that song. Well, it helps with the finals, but I think it's most importantly about their stage performance, and that's with all those light and flashing LED screens and smoke and fire that they have on these podiums, what is all the most expensive stuff, is for those performance. And yes, it's amazing, and yes, it's going to be sometimes over the top and sometimes just beautiful lighting. It's what makes Eurovision so Eurovision. There's no song contest basically like it. It has the most countries, it has all kinds of different genres, and it's about being just crazy on stage. I've seen Iceland's entry this year and they look insane, just their outfits already. So I'm interested how it's going to be. Probably very creepy, I fear. But that's Eurovision, and I hope we can all enjoy it and that everyone's happy with Saturday's winner. We have no idea yet. Like I said, Iceland is said to may be a winner. The Netherlands say that our Duncan is probably going to win. We shall see, so probably not be Iceland or the Netherlands. Also not Belgium. I can tell Belgium is not going to win. They are bad. But that's it for all now. I can talk about Eurovision for way longer, but I think I've talked about all the weird things that has happened to now. Behind the scenes, talking about weird things that happened on stage. We can go on forever, but that's not what it's about. It's about Eurovision itself and the strange thing that happens basically behind the scenes that we cannot see, and that's basically all about money and politics. But yeah, I'm going to run it up now. Bye! If you'd like this video, please like and subscribe down below. Support me on Patreon or do a one-time donation on Ko-Fi. Follow my social media. This channel is still growing and learning, and I'd love to have you all on this journey with me.